Well, good morning. How are you all today? Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith, and again, welcome to all the new people we've just had. Oh man, it's unbelievable how many people we've had join here recently. Welcome to you all. It's great to have you. Uh, it's a beautiful morning in Kansas, beautiful Sunday morning, and I'm going to get out there and get some and get started. We always have a lot of great things planned on Sundays. But I want to spend a few minutes first talking about this situation in the Middle East and kind of address the question, should you be preparing for war? The answer is yes, but it's not as simple as that. So I want to throw out a couple of thoughts. Uh, no doubt you're aware of what's happened in the last day or so over in the Middle East, that in response to Israel's bombing of the Iranian embassy in Damascus, Iran launched an attack last night here, uh, against Israel, shot a bunch of drones and cruise missiles and some ballistic missiles, and you're not going to know exactly what the truth is as far as how effective it was. Israel maintains that only about 1% of the uh, of the incoming got through. We did see some interest, and you don't know about that, and so that's not where you need to be wrapping your thoughts around right now. The interesting thing is that combined forces of the United States, the UK, and Jordan uh, intercepted most of these in addition to Israel's Iron Dome, uh, and so those three countries came together and pretty much coordinated the defense of Israel, apparently successfully. Now the interesting thing is going to be what happens next. And now I don't necessarily believe that this is the beginning of a total flagration. Uh, the Iran has a tendency to do things like this, to make a great play, and most of the terrorist-oriented, organizations and countries, they don't go to a full-out war. Well, I mean, if they are acting in concert with others, they have, take it back to the Six-Day War and the Yom Kippur War. But for the most part, when it's a single one, as the visible spearhead, they have a tendency not to launch the beginning of ongoing conflict. It's a matter of hit this, and yay, we won, and that's about it. And that very well could be the situation here. It might be over. We hear a lot of things, and we have to be careful about what we believe. Um, Everything is being said and done for multiple reasons. Whether it's Iran, whether it's Israel, whether it's the United States. It's meant for several different things. It's meant for internal consumption, what the message sent to their own people. It's meant for worldwide consumption, and then it's meant as direct messages to certain other people within the world community. So we have to see every bit of communication in that light. It can be a fragmented prism, such as the world of intelligence and communications. Uh, so what's going? We're going to know a lot more tonight. We're going to see whether there is tonight in Israel. We're going to see if there are follow-up attacks by Iran. Netanyahu has said we are going to respond, and blah blah blah. It's going to be within the next 24 to 48 hours. I shake my head when these people talk about time frames like that. But whatever. We will see if it happens. We will see if there's follow up by Iran tonight. That will indicate to me, at least, that that they are committed to continuing this. We're sure that there are other things going on under the table that we know nothing about. There are obvious, there is a cyber warfare. Whether they are going to, try to, whether the Houthis and the Palestinians and all these, whether they are going to rise up in concert, and because that way, if it really was the beginning of a full push against Israel, that's what you would expect. We will see, and then we will see whether Netanyahu actually does respond, and regardless of what we're being told, the United States is telling him, and that is not to respond. Let it go. Let this be the end of it. We don't know much right yet. We only know what's happened, but we don't necessarily know what it means. I will insert something. This is not a political channel for people who are new here, but I will insert one thing politically, and that is you should keep up on what's going on. You should, to the best of your ability, understand the situation in that part of the world. There are a lot of moving parts. I mean, don't separate this from Russia, Ukraine. Don't separate this from what's happening at our border. Don't separate this from China, Taiwan. It all works together. And I would use the example of World War II and the buildup of the years before World War II. And for those of you who may not have studied that time, which is most people, I mean, most people know what they were taught in history class, right? In American, or whether you're Canadian or Australian or whatever, you know what you're taught in history class out of history books written by the winners. And it's a very simplistic lesson or message, and half of it is propaganda. And if you haven't delved very deeply beneath the surface there, you don't know the truth. It would behoove you to know the truth. Now, I'll just say a couple things about that. The official story you've been told about World War II is a lie. And even 10 years ago, it was possible to find a lot of things on YouTube that would support what I just said. Now it is very difficult. And when I try to suggest things to people, I can't find them anymore. You have to go back to things written in that time. Here's the thing, and I don't know whether I should get into that or not. Probably not. Okay, I'm sorry. That wasn't a trick. That wasn't a hook. The build-up to World War II was very complicated. There were reasons for it that most people know nothing about. It was almost assured by the Treaty of Versailles. There were people who wanted it to happen, and it wasn't Germany. I know, that was probably a shock right there. But they wanted it to happen. Just think countries, banking, international corporations who make money off of war. Just think of that. And most of the American people, and Americans alive now don't realize this, most of the American people didn't want to get involved in that war. They didn't care. They had no dog in that fight, just like we don't have a dog in this fight, except what we decide, as our government decides, wants to, and that is for their benefit, not ours. And many people, I won't say a majority, but I would say a great percentage of Americans were actually on the side of Germany, and people don't know that. I refer you also to the quote attributed to Patton, and I believe that it's true, when after the war he said, "We defeated the wrong enemy." I'll let that sink in. Do your own research on this. The reason that I bring this up is because you should do your own research on what's happening now over there. Look more deeply than what you're being told in the news. Don't make your decisions emotionally from knee-jerk reactions to the propaganda that's being fed through our media, through whatever. Make sure that you do your own research. And it's more difficult now than it has been in the past, but do it. Do I think that this is the beginning of a greater conflict coming, perhaps a World War III? I think that it could be the beginning. I don't think that it's going to continue from this point in a steady upward line. I think it's going to be, if this is the beginning, it's going to be more like up, little things, little things, little things. But study previous wars, study World War II, and see all the things that kind of led up to it, and prepare yourself according to that. That's what I would suggest you prepare yourself for. If this continues like this, we're going to see the effects here in the United States and Canada and Australia and Western Europe. We're going to see increase in prices. We may see shortages happen. We had a big family get together last night, and I went past a couple of stores picking some things up, and I was amazed at how many things at our local grocery store were either out completely or very short. And there's nothing special going on, right now. But shortages are already, and I've watched this, I've noticed this over the last few weeks too, they're just getting worse and worse. So, expect those things, be ready for them, increased prices, shortages, and prepare yourself for that. And on that continuum, think about what you will need to be prepared if a full war breaks out. And this goes back to just basic preparedness on steroids, okay? All those things to, like we say, separate yourself from dependence on those external systems over which you have little or no control, okay? So yeah, prepare yourself for war. Well, it's probably not going to flash World War like in I don't even know what you might consider the near future. I imagine we will see it escalate through the American election cycle. But life is going to be tougher and tougher and tougher. Price is going to be higher, and there's going to be shortages. So prepare yourself for that. Yes, of course. And if you want to do that, to the best of your ability, might I suggest, if you haven't read them, that you read this series. I have this stack in reverse order because this is a set that's going out. I'm just about to sign this set for somebody who bought them. But this is the Stone Mott series, my books, the series of books I wrote, 6 novels, and where I explain it is the complete plan, I say, for preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a complete collapse of everything. And if this kind of war continues, who knows what we might find ourselves in. This is a lesson plan included in 6 great novels and a story you'll love. The Reversion, the Revival, the Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, the Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune. And you can get those on Amazon, and I'll put the link down there below in the description section. Or you can get them directly from me, and I love doing that because when you order them from me through our website, stonemott.us, that link is also down below, then I get to sign them for you. I don't get them to you quite as quickly as Amazon does, but I get to sign them for you, and I love my relationship with my readers, just like I do with my viewers. So if you really want something to read, to think about, to learn from, and to enjoy, might I suggest the Stone Mott series. That's where you also get all of our mugs and t-shirts and things like that. So just think about that. We'll keep our eye on what's going on over there with Israel and Iran. Tonight's going to show us a lot, like I said, and but it won't show us everything. Don't be complacent. Don't assume that whatever we see is going to continue on even either elevation or de-escalation. It's impossible in these complex situations to know, but what's not impossible to know is the importance of being prepared. So go out there today, do something, think about it, arm yourself with the information, study the information, understand to the best of your ability with the information that you can get what the situation is, so that you'll make making the right decisions for you. And we'll talk about this later. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Don't live in fear, but live prepared. And you all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.